the president of AAPG, Charles Sternbach. Charles, please.
Well, thank you, Gabor, and thank you for the fantastic work that you and the ICE committee members have accomplished over the past year in preparing for this historic convention. Your team's dedication and tireless work has been extraordinary, and on behalf of the AAPG Executive Committee and the entire association, I want to thank you and congratulate you and the volunteers for their wonderful and tireless work. So thank you all. And now there are a few additional people I'd like to recognize and thank. Two members of my executive committee are here with us today. President-elect Denise Cox and Vice President of Regions Dave Cook. Denise and Dave, would you please stand so we can recognize you? I can assure you that your executive committee members are working hard and serving you well. I'd also like to acknowledge and introduce SEG President Nancy House. APG and SEG have a long history of working together, and our Joint Cooperation Committee continues to identify new ways to bring our members together. Nancy, thank you for everything that you do for us. We're just getting warmed up. And I would like to I'd like David Curtis, our Executive Director from APG. If you would stand, David, I want to be sure to thank all of the hardworking and great people at APG headquarters. Thank you, David. Thank you, APG. And I'd like to thank all of you for attending the opening ceremony and the ICE 2017 convention. So I would like, at this opportunity, to say a few words today about how geoscience unites us. No matter where we are born or where we choose to live, geoscience unites us, and maps are key. So many of you recognize the William Smith 1815 map, which was a bold predictor of prosperity and a tool for useful development. We marvel at the genius who created this master treasure map. And I would like to say, I hope you see many useful maps at this conference. They're all around, thanks to the splendid technical program that has been prepared for us. Engage, enjoy, be inspired. And a question that I often get asked is, will we find oil in new places or will we find oil in old places? And the answer is yes. So I would like to show you another map. We have just released a new memoir on giant fields. It's full of maps. It's available in our bookstore, and in this book you will find supergiant fields that include some of the unconventionals like Marcellus, Bakken, and Eagleford. And you will also find papers on the conventional discoveries, giants like Lundin's success in the Norwegian North Sea, which is of great interest not just to Europe but for the world, for the incredible seismic imaging techniques. So I would like to show you a map from this new publication of the world's greatest oil and gas fields, which are represented by green and red symbols respectively. During the past 100 years, our industry has found about 1,000 giant fields, and a giant field is defined as 500 million barrels of oil and gas equivalent. And amazingly, we are still finding new giants like Zohr Field, which will be presented on Monday, tomorrow afternoon at the Discovery Thinking Forum. And I'd like to say that the Discovery Thinking Forum has become a signature event at this ICE and at other APG, ACE, and ICE programs. Now, on this map, I would like to point out that there are yellow and red areas which represent thick sedimentary packages in deep and ultra-deep water yet to be explored. And I cannot resist commenting that there is still a lot of room on this map for many more giants. There has recently been a lot of excitement in North America, and now starting to expand, in places like the Permian Basin. The Permian is a prototype, what we call a super basin, using IHS terminology. Production in the Permian Basin peaked in 1976, and it was thought that this prolific province had seen its best days long ago. Then, about 2005, technological innovation involving horizontal drilling and hydraulic fracturing, the Permian Basin daily production began to rise rapidly. My friend Alan Gilman and I call this the Pratt inflection after the visionary explorer Wallace Pratt. Miraculously, today the Permian Basin production now exceeds its glorious heyday of 40 years ago. It's remarkable. What can we learn from this? Superbasins like the Permian are heavily endowed petroleum provinces. The top 25 have produced, of these basins, have produced 5 billion barrels of oil, have future reserves exceeding 5 billion barrels of oil. They have multiple source rocks and many pays, many plays, and significant infrastructure. Our colleagues at IHS suggest that more than 800 billion barrels may be produced in the top 25 superbasins around the globe for decades to come. And these are just the top tier. There are many more basins below the top 25 basins. Clearly, the world is watching these game-changing developments. So what is AAPG doing about this renaissance in energy? In the beginning of what was called the shale revolution, all unconventional plays were compared to the Barnett Shale in North Texas. It was the only analog we had around 10 years ago. But today, we now have approximately 10 successful analog superbasins with mixtures of conventional and unconventional resources with the promise of many more. And the time is right at the dawn of APG's second century for a forward-looking conference. APG is leading the way with the Global Superbasins Conference to showcase technology, share, and best practices. And I'm so passionate about this topic that I am chairing it myself, and I'm engaging some of the greatest explorers in these basins to come and tell us at a program that will be organized in Houston, March 27th to 29th of 2018. And yes, I encourage you to come and join us. And yes, we are looking for speakers as well. We have 20 outstanding explorers, and we can use a few more. At this conference, we're going to explore how energy, economics, and environment come together in positive ways. It will be an exciting event, and I hope for you to be able to participate in any way that you are able. I also want to mention the APG Annual Convention in Salt Lake City that will be planned for May. It's going to be a very strong meeting focused on world-class outcrops, science, business practices, but very importantly, it is going to showcase innovation, because when you're a professional society that's been around for 100 years, or whether you're an industry that's been around for 100 years, or a company, if you're not innovating, you're not staying vital, and we plan to innovate. So, if I might, I'd like to share with you what APG's strategic goals are. First and foremost is using science and professional content to help our members succeed. We all have stakeholders, whether they're our companies, our nations, our investors. We all want to deliver the energy to the world. And we want to focus on our members' needs. This is first and foremost. And we want to use APG's resources wisely to maximize member benefit. To me, APG is an amazing organization. The types of activities that we do to encourage our members, to help with the Imperial Barrel Award, to help with experiential learning. We have a visiting geoscientist program that past APG President Robbie Grease and others have really spearheaded, that does a fantastic job at public outreach. These are amazing programs, and APG is a big part of it. And finally, I would like to say a few words as we remember Marlin Downey, who recently passed away. I know many people in this audience knew Marlin Downey. He was a wonderful past president of APG. He was a great thinker, a visionary, a dear friend. And Marlin had a couple of key sayings, and I think the one that he's known most for is geoscience is a science. Geology is a science, but exploration is a business. And I think that Marlin's mantra to us is, it's important that we stay focused in the publications, the products, the services, the events that APG does, that we go where the energy is, because that's where we are going to be able to help our members in their jobs to produce the energy that the world so greatly needs. And what I think makes APG special to me is our combined practical focus. We focus on science, professionalism, business in a global context. We've done it for 100 years, and we plan to boldly achieve new heights in our second century. So with that, I want to say thank you for your support of AAPG, professional societies, and providing the energy to make the world a better place. Look around you. You're in the company of the best oil finders in the world. I am so glad to be with you. Thank you for all that you do.